regular session of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, also sitting as all special taxing districts. Um, April 1st, it's not April Fool's that we're here to. 2024, 9 a.m. Board members will attend either in person, by telephone, or remotely via electronic conferencing. We're all here, and can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Mr. Lyons, can you please lead us?
Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move on to call to the public. Call to the public is held for public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or rescheduling the matter for further discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email at publiccomments@yumacountyaz.gov. The email forms of public comments will be accepted until 8 a.m. the morning of the meeting. All public comments will be read out loud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisors meeting that starts at 9 a.m. And I know we had one.
One, but gentleman is here.
Just here. Okay, thank you. We don't have another. And I do have some speaker forms for call to the public, and I'll go ahead and start out with Bruce Luna.
Good morning. My name is Bruce Luna. I live at 16590 South Avenue 2.5E here in Yuma. First thing I want to talk about is Gadsden School District. Recently, they came into the paper indicating they didn't have money to fix facilities at the school. Well, then I started doing some research, figuring out the reason why is because they're going to go hang out at the Bellagio over the summer. I asked for public records, haven't received them. It's been about 15 days. Maybe somebody could take a look at it, because where I come from, that's called misuse of government funds. Okay, the next thing I got is Yuma County Fair. On this Tuesday, today, over 700 kids are going to be turning in their animals. Chickens, rabbits, goats, lambs, guinea pigs, large animals, swine, production, feeder calves, market steers, and other kids with their horses. Okay? This is one of the greatest things that our kids have in our community. And recently we came over a memorandum. It's an internal email from Maggie Castro, Jesse Carrillo from the Yuma County Planning and Zoning Committee. Here are some of my changes. It may become controversial. Please contact the 4-H and FFA's advisory. That's only 10 people. Okay, I just told you have over 700 kids, including their parents, and I live in the county. I have animals in my house. I store animals for other kids. I'm blessed with that. Thank goodness I am. Okay, but this is absolutely wrong. Okay, you want to try to tie our kids' hands to not show animals, or slowly take away our rights to have animals in the county. Okay, this is wrong. You need to stop it. Okay, you don't need to let it grow. Pour some weed killer and kill it. That's what I'm hoping. So anyway, one thing I did ask, I asked who the stakeholders who came up with the complaint. As of yet, I haven't heard anything. So that usually tells me something's not right. It's common sense. So I hope that y'all maybe find out who the stakeholders who brought it to your attention or to the planning and zoning. Other than that, y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luna. And I'll just say that for the school district, I would recommend you go to the school board for the Gadsden School District and make them aware of your concern. And Ian, can we look at that for the animal?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I did not understand what that last portion was. What's keeping 700 kids from? I mean, I know it's not a discussion item, so we can't get into a long discussion.
Ian
Ian
can
can
look
do it?
into it,
Okay,
and
all right.
he'll get back to
He'll
us.
let us know.
Thank you. Next speaker form is Amy Parrott.
Good morning. My name is Amy Pear. I work with the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension, specifically with the 4-H program. And I just want to let you know, if in case you didn't, Yuma County Fair kicks off tomorrow. It really is sort of the best part of the year for 4-H members and volunteers. And so I just want to make sure that you're all aware of it. Please come attend. Kids are doing really amazing things. And volunteers have taken the week off of the fair. I brought schedules. And so I am just basically asking you to come and support our program. Additionally, especially with given what was just recently brought up, we did receive something from the county with some proposed changes to the planning and zoning with respect to animals. And so I would just ask if there are going to be changes, if you could just keep 4-H and FFA advisors and adults in the loop, we would be happy to loop in our parents and things like that. And so really just inviting you to come and support our program at the Yuma County Fair is basically it. But I did bring schedules just in case everybody's living under a rock and doesn't know the fair is here. But really it's our favorite time of the year. And so cinnamon rolls are there. There's a ton of changes at the fairgrounds, like great improvements. But really come and see our kids and our volunteers. So that's all that I have. Thank you.
Can I get the?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Please.
I brought 10 so that you can take a couple. Thank you.
Thank you.
How many you need?
Two.
Just one.
This way. I'll pass it the other way. Hold on. Here we go.
Mr. Chairman? Yes. Ian did provide me a letter of the planning and zoning regulations that have been in place since 1999. And I provided that map to the JLC so that they had that and understood what the zoning had been since 1999.
All right, thank you. And I do have one more speaker form, and it's Joseph Merck.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring back to the attention of the board about County 16 on Avenue B and 19. That's a Indy 500. People are just highballing down that road. In fact, since I last talked, a few more animals have been killed on that road. My suggestion would be to put a 4-way stop at County 17. And the reason for that is at 17 3/4, you have a church where people congregate. They park their cars. Of course, you know, it's right on the corner there. You also have mailboxes there where people have to cross Avenue B to get their mail. And then you have kids that are picked up by the school bus every morning when they're school. And the kids walk across Avenue B because my property is right across the street. And I've seen them walk across the street there. In fact, in the past, they've graffitied my wall, you know. So that would be my suggestion. I mean, all these animals getting killed out there, I must tell you something. You know what I mean? How long is it going to take before we do something before a person gets killed? I got a bad feeling about that section of the road. I travel there every day, and I see guys going to the prison highballing down there because they're late. They go right down that road, and I don't know if you guys have traveled that road, but you know, people just speed down there. And the statistics say that 15% of the cars on average are exceeding the speed limit. Now that's 15% too much. I can't live with that. Because 1/10 of that 15% could be that person or that car that kills a person. Can we afford to not do anything about it until somebody gets killed? I'm not willing to do that. I will come here every meeting if I have to and bring this to the board's attention. I don't want to see a person get killed or a little kid going to school waiting for a school bus to get killed because we didn't do something. Okay? We got to do something. I travel that road. I have seen no sheriff's presence out there. I see they've got their traffic thing there to record the speed or whatever it is, but I don't see any sheriff's presence out there giving people tickets or anything. And I travel that every day. I live right there in the corner, 17th quarter and Avenue B. And I have not seen the sheriff patrol that area.
Well, okay, thank you, Mr. Merrick. I know management is already looking into it.
County engineer said 15% of the, but how many cars go down, up and down that Avenue B? I don't know how many, but 15% is a lot of cars. It only takes one to kill a person. One.
We'll continue to.
But we got to do something.
That area.
My suggestion, four-way stop at County 17. I don't care if we have to put a traffic light there and stop signs, whatever it is. That's going to break up that speed between 16 and 19.
Thank you.
Got to do something.
Thank you.
Once a person gets killed, I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to point. Boom, 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 boom. Why didn't you guys do something?
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public that wishes to address the board? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and leave the call to the public open and move on to presentations, proclamations, and appointments. Do we have any appointments or? No? Okay, we'll move on to proclamations. Number 1. Chairman proclaims April 2024 as National County Government Month, and we have Mr. Simmons. Supervisor Simmons.
Okay, proclaiming the month of April 2024 as National County Government Month, Counties Thrive. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties, parishes, and boroughs serving more than 315 million Americans provide essential services to create healthy, safe, and vibrant communities. And whereas counties provide public health services, administer justice, keep communities safe, foster economic opportunities, and much more. And whereas the Yuma County and all counties take pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas under the leadership of National Association of Counties President Gary Moore, NACO is demonstrating how counties thrive, especially in supporting residents and businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate awareness of county responsibilities, programs, and services. Now, therefore, the month of April 2024 is hereby proclaimed the National County Government Month in Yuma County. Counties matter.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
Chairman Porches, members of the board, Jessica Rodriguez, Human Resources Director. I am happy to accept this proclamation on behalf of all of the Yuma County offices and departments who work so tirelessly to provide our community with a number of resources. National County Government Month is an annual celebration of county government held each April, and it's an excellent opportunity to highlight the effective Yuma County programs and raise public awareness and understanding about the various services that we provide to the community, and educate our citizens on the importance of county government and how we touch their lives every day. Through our tireless efforts and critical services we provide to our residents, our counties protect the safety, health, and vitality of our communities. Selfless county officials and frontline employees have demonstrated bold and inspirational leadership, driving recovery and helping our residents and communities. Now is the time to spotlight our success and to educate the public about how our county provides real support, identifying the challenges on the ground and pursuing real solutions. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I know and you have one more, so we'll go ahead and read that one, and then we'll step down.
Okay, sounds wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
Good idea.
All right, and the next one, we have proclaiming the month of April 2024 as Yuma County Government Employee Appreciation Month. Whereas Yuma County and its employees play an essential role in keeping our communities safe and secure by preserving public health and well-being, ensuring public safety, and promoting local economies while providing professional and dedicated public services. And whereas Yuma County and its employees take their role seriously in protecting and enhancing the health, welfare, and safety of citizens in our community, and to deliver effective quality services while containing costs through efficient use of local tax dollars. And whereas Yuma County is one of 15 counties in the state of Arizona responsible for serving the needs of every resident and reflects a wide diversity of people, culture, and landscape in our state, with Yuma County employees having a reputation for quality and excellence. And whereas the Board of Supervisors appreciate, acknowledge our employees, and demonstrates integrity, who demonstrate integrity, commitment, and dedicated service each and every day on behalf of our community. Now therefore, the month of April 2024 is hereby proclaimed Yuma County Government Employee Appreciation Month in Yuma County. Tongue tied.
Chairman Porteous, members of the board, Jessica Rodriguez, HR Director. In celebration of Employee Appreciation Month, we would like to take this opportunity to highlight the many ways that Human Resources has strived to show appreciation for Yuma County and Superior Court employees and their family members throughout the year. Starting in the fiscal year, July 22nd and 23rd, we hosted a 2-day weekend event of bowling at Inca Lanes. October 20th, we enjoyed our annual fall movie night featuring Disney's Elemental on the main library lawn. December 9th, Santa helped Yuma County employees and their families capture holidays with photos. On February 2024, Human Resources promoted employee appreciation by promoting Show the Love, a countywide activity where employees were able to send appreciation grams to all employees within the county. Over 5,000 grams were sent and received. March 22nd, we hosted Wonka, a family night outside at the Yuma Main Library. And starting this weekend, you've probably already noticed, 198 This Building, Main Street, Adult Probation, the Historic Courthouse, the Justice Center, and the Main Library are all illuminated in dark pink, representing appreciation for all of our Yuma County employees and everything that they do. So upcoming this week, or actually starting next week, we are going to be having Cafecito at the Garden right here next door. It's an adult-only event where we will have food, live music, a photo booth, where we will create fun and enjoyment for our families. And we are pleased to invite all of Yuma County and Superior Court employees to attend our annual recognition ceremony up the street at the Art Center, which is going to be April 17th from 3:30 to 5. We will be recognizing our employees' years of service from 5 up to 35 years, announcing the Employee of the Year for Superior Court, the Employee of the Year for Yuma County, the Safety Excellence Award winner, and of course this year our new Chairman's Cup winner. We have a whole long list of things that we've done, and I appreciate all of the support that the board and county administration has provided us in Human Resources, and I'd like to recognize the folks in this room who work so hard throughout the year to provide all of these events for all of our county members. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jessica, and like you said, yeah, thanks to all the staff, all the employees for Yuma County. They do an excellent job. So
Thank you.
Looking forward to the 17th of April. They can all join.
Thank you, Chairman.
We'll step down to get a picture and.
Yes, I would love to invite.
Sorry, guys.
You know what, we should probably stay up there.
Well, I'm facing the flower.
We're going to stand up here.
We're gonna stand behind you guys. We did not realize the whole group was here. Where's everybody, where's people working at?
Tony only brought one wallet today, so.
I was.
Only brought one
wallet.
Got everybody up here.
Everybody.
I think that's the first one.
I'm gonna have everybody shift this area. No.
Oh, shift, just shift. I mean, you looked at it, don't spin. I told you. Layer it up. Make it 2 layers.
Oh, that's a good fit.
Can you see?
So you say. Sure, we're gonna get the
All right, everybody's in there for 1, 2, 3. Wait, let me show this.
Back up a little,
Simmons?
back up.
All right, there we go. Got it.
Thank you.
Oh,
wait, one more, Annie. Come on, Annie.
In the back.
Oh, Annie, did you get the first one?
No, it's okay, you can get the second one. This is
This is a
the
different, this is a different one.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it.
Annie needs to do her.
Everybody look at me then. Hey. All right, there we go.
We have to, somehow afford a camera.
She has a camera. This is
I know.
yours.
She has the big one.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Thank you.
Yes, you bet.
Are you having problems?
I don't know. Somebody's starting to lay it out.
And we'll now move on to proclamation number 3, National Library Week in Yuma County.
Oh, yes.
And Supervisor Pancrase will read it.
Proclaiming the week of April 7th through the 13th, 2024 as Yuma County Library Week. Whereas libraries offer the opportunity for everyone to connect with others, learn new skills, and pursue their passions, no matter where they are in life's journey. And whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of our communities, developing and expanding collections, programs, and services that are as diverse as the populations they serve. And whereas libraries play a pivotal role in economic development by providing resources and support for job seekers, entrepreneurs, and small businesses, thus contributing to the local prosperity and growth. And whereas libraries are treasured institutions that preserve our collective heritage and knowledge, safeguarding both physical and digital resources for present and future generation. And whereas libraries are an essential public good and fundamental institutions in democratic societies, working to improve society, protect the right to education and literacy, and promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Now, therefore, the week of April 7th through the 13th, 2024 is hereby proclaimed Yuma County Library Week in Yuma County.
I didn't get that. Can you read it again?
What? Oh,
Yeah.
I love my library.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. God, I feel so alone up here after that big group. I'm gonna have to bring my crew next time. Well, thank you, as always, for your continued support of our Yuma County libraries. And I just want to quickly mention some events coming up. We thought we'd schedule a solar eclipse to kick off National Library Week, just to make a splash. So we will be having a viewing event at the main library from 10 to 12:30. We'll have solar telescopes set up. Special viewing glasses will be available. So if you'd like to stop by for that event, we'd love to have you. The other thing that we're doing is kicking off our annual patron satisfaction survey. We always grappled with how to best celebrate National Library Week, and we decided the best thing to do was to communicate with our patrons in the community and find out what we're doing well, what we could be doing better, and what kinds of programs and activities they'd like to see at their library. So that will be available in all the libraries as well as on our website, yumalibrary.org. So I encourage you and anyone else who is interested to take our brief 6-question survey and let us know what we should include in our plans for the coming year.
Thank you, Sarah. And again, like every year, it's like if you don't have your library card, go get one. They're free, and you can check out books. Do you have it?
Look, it's more than checking out books, as I hear. There's a lot of stuff the library does.
Books and more.
That's probably one of the reasons why when we do customer surveys.
I'll vouch for you.
I'll
vouch for you.
Okay, thank you.
It's
We'll
fine.
take a picture.
You better.
Oh, I don't have my library card with me. It's in the truck.
Bring the, oh, there you go. Huge library.
All right, everybody over here first. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, and then now.
I got a hold of his wallet. There, he should be there. Ahora sí nos va a apurar porque no se quiere para atrás. Bueno, back.
And we'll move to proclamation for Fair Housing Month in Yuma County.
Okay, well, this would be, I'll read this. Proclaiming the month of April 2024 as Fair Housing Month. Whereas April 2024 marks the 56th anniversary of the National Fair Housing Act, which emphasizes a national policy of fair housing. And whereas this act, under Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, affirms the right of all citizens to equal housing opportunities, free from discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, or familiar status. And whereas implementation of the fair housing policy of Yuma County requires a positive commitment, involvement, and support from each and every one of our citizens. Whereas implementation of the fair housing policy of Yuma County requires positive commitment, involvement, and support from each and every one of our citizens. I guess they needed to repeat that twice. Whereas Fair Housing Month is a time set aside each year to remind citizens that we only have the right to own and rent property, but we also have an individual responsibility to guard that right from any infringement. Now, therefore, the month of April 2024 is hereby proclaimed Fair Housing Month in Yuma County.
Thank you. Supervisor Reyes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Orchas, members of the board. Well, yes, we several local agencies get together to plan this fair housing event during this month. As you can see, well, today, this month is Fair Housing Month. And the Southwest Fair Housing Council, Yuma County, City of Yuma, WACOG, Chief Human Services, Comité de Bienestar, Arizona at Work, Transitional Living Centers Recovery, and Yuma Associations of Realtor. We all planned this event, and it's going to be held at the Heritage Library, the Grass area. The address is 350 South 3rd Avenue here in Yuma on April 23rd from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're also having a fair housing class during that time from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We are also having a Spanish, Vivienda Justa, from 1:30 to 3 o'clock. So we are basically promoting the resources that we have out there to promote fair housing.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and take a picture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, who's going to hold it?
Shifted now.
It did work out.
1, 2, 3. Correct?
No, he doesn't have one.
The wallet's in the front. Don't go anywhere. Increase the time this thing is on.
And we will go ahead and move on to another proclamation. We have Public Health Week in Yuma County, and Supervisor Lyons will read it.
Whereas the week of April 1 through 7, 2024 is National Public Health Week, and the theme is Protecting, Connecting, and Thriving. We are all public health And whereas public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, including disease outbreaks, natural disasters, disasters caused by human activity, and whereas public health action, together with scientific and technological advances, has played a major role in reducing and in some cases eliminating the spread of infectious diseases, and in establishing today's disease surveillance and control systems, and whereas now more than ever, it is important to understand the value of public health and to continue building strong public health systems for sustaining and improving community health. Now, therefore, the week of April 7 through 13, 2024 is hereby proclaimed Public Health Week in Yuma County.
Morning.
Good morning. Diana Gomez, Director of Public Health, Chief Health Officer. Thank you so much for the proclamation. And this time, I'm used to standing up here by myself, but this time I thought I'd do something different. So I actually brought some of my team members with me, and I wanted to just give you an overview of some of the major departments that we do. So we have Animal Control, which is not here because they're out there working. We do mental health, so we're responsible for the screening and evaluation, and we're very grateful to the County Attorney's Office for their continued assistance in that program. But we have emergency preparedness. And if you guys want to just come up here, so that makes it easier when we have our picture. So we have emergency preparedness, which, you saw during the pandemic, we're responsible for PPE, but they also do a lot of coalition building and a lot of exercises. And a lot of these preparedness exercises are essential for other institutions. And we have vital records, and so those are our death, our birth certificates. They work with mortuaries, they work with different entities. We have injury prevention, so a lot of people are familiar with that program because of the car seats. They do general education classes also for new moms, general safety, that they are leading the suicide prevention as well as the opioid prevention approach. We have health promotions. Health promotions does all our chronic disease, all our education. If you've seen Body Walk or the nutrition education programs in the schools, they oversee the majority of our school-based programming. We have WIC, and WIC is a supplemental nutrition program. Food insecurity is an issue. They make sure that moms, families that are eligible from pregnant women and their families all the way till the children grow up and they're 5 years of age. So again, continued support. We have nursing, probably our biggest division, and one that most people are familiar with. So they do the immunizations. They have the Health Star program. They do a lot of prenatal education. The Promotora model, which is now really well known, started as a pilot program in our health department many years ago. They do communicable disease, TB. If we have a baby that's born and that has, some sort of medical condition in the hospital and they're in the NICU, we follow those babies up for 2 years to make sure those families have the linkage to resources. And when your baby has an issue when they're born, you're super nervous. So we make sure we give parents that confidence. And did I forget anybody? Yeah, we covered everybody. Anyhow, so this is my team, and thank you so much for your continued support and allowing us to go out in the community and do what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to say something. I think we have one of the best health departments in the whole state. And it's because of the team you have with you. It really is a great team. They go everywhere. They do everything. Things that we don't even think about, you guys are thinking about it. So I just want to make sure that we all recognize the fact that you do great work, guys. I mean, I've asked around the state, and you are held in high esteem. And that's just not me. It's people from outside, and that's always a good thing to hear when you go out.
Thank you.
All right. Up at top.
Group two.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, when the groups are large, we loom in the background.
Yeah, hide behind you.
Oh, thanks.
Nobody brought their bicycles, right?
Look at you guys getting it together. All right. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
So we're gonna have to forgive one of these days.
Hi, Annie.
Thank you.
You guys very much.
Thank
You guys for all you do.
Thank you for what all you guys do.
I'll do it again.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, my God.
I know, I walked away.
Dime saludas.
No. Okay, this makes my part.
Let me for the last.
I know, thank you.
That should be the first.
Thank you.
Good try.
Okay.
We'll move on to item number 6, presentation by Public Health Services District Director Dana Gomez.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Gomez, Director of Public Health, and I wanted to share with you the highlights of our community health assessment. So this is something that we do regularly to evaluate the health of our community, as well as areas that we see as emerging issues, things we need to anticipate, start working towards. And then this is also a way to identify partners. So I want to go ahead and share with you how this data was collected. First of all, I want to acknowledge the Arizona Prevention Resource Center. We work really closely with them and the School of Public Health, and they are our partners in coming down here and helping us get this process going. So we had over 50 organizations that participated in our assessment. We had 31 key informant interviews. So those were additional interviews where we reached out to community experts and stakeholders to get their take. We wanted to know who the boots on the ground were. We wanted to know what you did in the people that you serve, the people that you work with, and what you saw as things that were important, the needs and the areas for opportunity. Then we had focus groups, and we went out through different parts of the county because, again, we believe that transportation or not being able to come to where we're at shouldn't be a barrier. So we went out. We had community members, 129, participated in different gallery walks. And this was in partnership with our library district. And again, because we have libraries throughout the county and they're really engaged in the community, it was a good opportunity for us to put out information, and we asked the public, what do you think the priorities are? What do you see the needs are? And so through that library system, people, when they were visiting the library, were able to participate and voice their opinion. And then we had virtual community forums. So that's how we collected the data. The priority issues that rose to the surface were mental health and behavioral health. And again, it's a provider issue. And I'd like to point out that we're making great strides in the community. There's more providers. Our different clinical partners are making big changes in recruitment and building programs. I know there's a program with YMC and AWC. So we have solution makers here in town that see a problem, they're working towards it. But it's something that we still need to work towards. Chronic disease, 1 in 8 adults have a diabetes diagnosis. And chronic disease like hypertension, diabetes, a lot of people are undiagnosed. So we want to encourage people to make sure they get their preventive screening. A lot of insurance cover it. We have a lot of network community partners that are clinical partners that provide screenings that are free of charge, or sometimes when they do health fairs, get started. And if you have a provider and you have insurance, your provider provides that. But there's also sliding fee scale providers, and so don't let that go. And if you have questions, please call our office and we'll share information about one of the community providers or how we can help. Substance abuse, again, nothing different than what everybody else in the country is experiencing. We saw 855 overdoses during that time period. And food insecurity, and I think that's something that we take for granted. I think most of us, go home and don't think about that, but we have the community partners like the food bank or the school nutrition programs that are incredible safety net in assisting those families. So I think that's one that we really want to work towards and make sure people understand, because I think it's something that not everybody thinks about. So moving on to the next slide. Mental health. And so I wanted to highlight this slide because these were the numbers of suicide deaths among Yuma County adults by gender. And you can see the discrepancy between males and females. And I think there's a lot of different reasons for that. One of them is, we need to, again, there's a stigma with mental health. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. That's why we really wanted to promote that Credible Minds platform. It's free, it's anonymous, it's online, but we want to encourage people to have those conversations starting when their children are really young, because it's not too early. People sometimes we see people that are struggling, we reach out to them, but there's a large number of our population that struggle silently. And so when you see somebody, you don't really know, what's going on with them. So again, we want to encourage people to reach out. Then chronic disease, like I mentioned, you can see the Arizona baseline for, this is diabetes mortality. So these are people that unfortunately pass away from diabetes-related complications. And you can see the yellow solid line. And that's how Yuma County trends. Now, there's a lot of educational programs under diabetes is like hypertension, sometimes considered a silent killer because people are walking around undiagnosed. They don't know how to manage the condition, but it's a chronic condition that with proper education and intervention and the proper clinical management can be managed and you can live a healthy life. So again, the first step is getting screened, knowing that you have it, and then following through with that. Substance abuse disorder. This is non-fatal, so I want to emphasize that. Non-fatal opioid overdoses reported in Yuma County between 2017 and 2023. And the reason I highlighted this slide is because I want you to look at the age groups. And you can see that they're pretty spread apart, but you can see that our target group that we really want to highlight is that 18 to 34 age group. A lot of times we think it's the younger kids that are experimenting, but you can see that it goes across the spectrum. So again, but looking at that 24 to 34, and so looking further at what those variables are. And this next slide was an 8th grade survey that was conducted across the state. And I am highlighting this because I think it's important for people to hear a little bit. Those are the things we don't hear about. So the first column is reasons for using substance abuse in the last 30 days. Okay, and this is 8th graders across the state. And you can see that stress is, behavioral health issues. Experimentation is down on the list, but you can see that dealing with stress is a big issue. Now, I want you to look at the other side, reasons for not using substance. So, okay, some are not interested, but I want you to see that parent would be disappointed. And I want to emphasize to parents, you have a huge sway over your children. Kids care about that. They want that engagement. And so sometimes as a parent, when you're like, I don't know what to do, I want parents to find some hope in that, in the fact that kids do care and kids want to be engaged. Now you can see harm to body, illegal, could get arrested, and then parents could take away privileges. So again, with that age group, at least with 8th graders, that still carries a lot of weight. Now, access to healthy food, because we were talking about food insecurity. Now, this is adults who consume 5 or more servings of vegetables per day, which I admit is a challenge for everybody. But part of this, I wanted to highlight the second part of that, which is they find it difficult to find affordable produce. And I want you to see, if you note in the East County, that's food desert. And I think that when you see your farmers markets and you see a lot of the stuff, they're focused in our metro area, in the city. And so it's an opportunity for us to go out there and maybe encourage more farmers market or more projects down in East County, because it's not an issue of not wanting to or making a choice not to. It's just not there. So how can we as a community, do we look at a mobile farmers market? Do we look at encouraging some expansion of business out there? But again, sometimes you see the stat, but it's important to understand the reason behind that. So I just wanted to highlight that. Now, we're moving in the right direction. There's things we need to work on. There's issues, obviously. Food insecurity is decreasing. It's continuing to go down. It's still a problem. And then there's people that actually don't report that. So I always look at these numbers and I think it's higher. Yuma County has one of the lowest cancer mortality rates in the state. Again, early screening and the advent of more providers locally helps with that. Early identification is key. Yuma County has the second lowest suicide rate, fatality rate in counties. And again, you saw that high rate, but we're still trending lower. Again, access to behavioral health information is important. Alcohol-related emergency room visits decreased. Yuma County also has the lowest opioid overdose fatality rate. So what you saw in the earlier slide was the overdoses. Now we're looking at fatality, where there was an intervention that prevented that fatality. So that's obviously an area of continued opportunity, more education, more outreach, making sure people have the tools that they need. Proportion with babies born with low birth weight is lower here than in the state, also in the national average. And you wouldn't think that low birth weight or complications with childbirth would be an issue in our country with our access to technology, but it is, and it's a growing problem. And we, in a combination with our community partners that do home visitation, access to nutrition, prenatal education, and just the availability of community services is making that go down. And then San Luis was identified as SafeWise by the safest city in Arizona. So again, these are all things that help us move that trend in the right direction. Now, our assets and strength. We're a close-knit community, right? People come, they state a problem, people come together. working between collaborations. Most people, there's a lot of silos going on, but here we tend to come together when we find a common cause. And public health is a shared responsibility. It's a shared accountability. And together is the only way, not everybody has all the tools in the toolbox. So we need the different tools to work together to make something happen. We've seen an increase in resources, particularly in behavioral health and substance abuse disorder treatment. Safety and security, in the surveys across the board, people felt safe. They felt like there was a good response to if there was a need, a safety threat. So kudos to our law enforcement community. And again, outdoor and public spaces. And you see that continue to thrive, the Parks and Rec programs, creating that opportunity for families, for children, that park, looking at those things where people need that recreational space and working towards that. So again, our full report we will release and we'll put on our website on next Monday, but I just wanted to give you a sneak peek in case you had any questions or there was something you really wanted to highlight. And Supervisor Pancrazzi, thank you for being part of the process and being engaged and helping guide that process. But
Well, thank you for what you do, Diane.
Thank
And
you.
you and your staff.
Thank you.
You are amazing. They are amazing.
Any questions or comments?
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank
job.
you.
Have the rest of your day. Thank you.
Moving on to consent calendar, the following items listed under the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion unless a board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. And we have items 1 to 7.
I'd like to pull number 6.
Pull number 6, all right.
Nothing else, I'll make a motion that we approve consent items 1 through 7 with the exception of number 6.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve consent calendar items 1 to 7 with the exception of number 6. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Simmons.
Diane, the reason I pulled this is I just mainly want to recognize all these different groups that are just excited to donate to our parks, to enhance them, benches, trees. There's just so many groups I couldn't, I could read what's here, but I would leave some out because I know there's quite a few out there that have approached you wanting to make donations to the Parks Department. So mainly I just wanted to highlight that and thank all of them for wanting to get involved and make our parks better.
Good morning,
Wanted to
Mr.
add-
Chairman, members of the board. I
No, I
apologize.
just say I wanted to add that, if we can get this type of enthusiastic support for any place that we put a park, it'd be great because
Yes. Yes.
it really turned out to be a community project. Basically, it was our project, but it really turned out to be a community
Yes.
project. Everybody wants to be a part of it, which is very nice, very good. It's an unexpected return on that project out there.
Chairman Borchers, Supervisor Reyes, they were calling and really wanting to donate, and they, hopefully, we'll get that chance.
Yeah, especially the trees. We need some trees out there.
Big ones, bigger ones. And
Bigger ones.
yes, absolutely.
Well, yeah, thank you, and once again to all those supporters out there that sponsor something. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Make sure that the woman on the moose don't bring any moose.
Or not live ones.
Don't donate any moose. We don't want no moose.
And with that, I'll make a motion to approve item number 6 as presented.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second to approve item number 6 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to discussion and action items. I'll go directly to item number 1, Development Services Planning and Zoning Division, review and approve the annual report for calendar year 2023. We have Maggie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Maggie.
Morning.
This is the calendar year 2023 annual report. It was prepared and presented pursuant to Section 2H of the Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws. Would you like a PowerPoint presentation?
Do we want that or?
I mean, it's a yearly thing, so. It's
Do
outdated.
do you have any changes that are very
Big.
yeah, that we should?
That we should be aware of.
There were just some decreases in permit activity and case activity. Has to do with the economic forces that are going on. Nothing was too significant where it drew any red flags.
I'm okay.
Sounds good.
We've got it in the computer, we can always.
Yeah.
Any questions for Maggie?
No, thank you, Maggie, for keeping up. I know that when it comes to getting something from the government, there needs to be a plan. So, having an annual plan, it helps out.
Is there a motion to?
I'll make a motion that we accept the Development Services Planning and Zoning Division review and approval of the annual report for calendar year 2023.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the annual report for calendar year 2023. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Maggie. Moving on to item number 2. Hear presentation and discuss and take possible action in selecting an option related to size, amenities, construction method, materials, and cost for the emergency management facilities to be located at Public Works site at 4343 South Avenue 5.5 E. 3 minutes, Dave.
3 minutes. Good morning, Chairman Porteous, members of the board, Dave Hillen, Construction Projects Director. Thank you. I stumbled right there. Just as a recap, we're talking today about the emergency management facility, going back to the December board long-term planning roundtable. We were looking at that point in time a recommendation to relocate either an existing trailer or new out to the Public Works site for use by the emergency management group. At that point in time, we're directed to explore options related to that approach. Going back to February when we brought a proposal to provide and install a modular building at the site, we were directed to expand that a little bit further, look at some additional options, and that is what we're prepared to discuss here this morning. First off, looking at the site, these are some proposed possible locations, pardon the microphone there, at the Public Works site. South 5.5 E here on the west. For in the instance of a modular building, we're looking at this location between the 2 existing structures, where we could place that modular building and connect to existing utilities fairly easily. If we're going to do any other move forward with any other option, we're looking at options a little bit further away from the buildings themselves to provide adequate space to do so. And in a discussion just this morning, there may be some issues with this location on the north side in terms of access to heavy equipment and whatnot in this area. So we may want to hold that back as a
Last resort.
Perhaps. So looking at the 4 options here, starting off with the one that was presented previously. And before I jump in too far to this too, I do want to highlight a couple of things. Number one, as part of the establishing of guidelines related to costs, for these, we reached out to a number of entities to get that input that we were looking for, and I wanted to mention them just briefly. I wanted to thank Kirk Perkins and staff at Yuma Valley Contractors, Clint Harrington, Chris Pilkington at Pilkington Construction, Joe Yergin at Mortensen Construction, Kitchell CEM, who's partnering with me on project management, construction management activities here for the county, Chris Thompson with Thompson Design Architects, Kevin Dahl with Dahl Robbins, Cunningham Design, McCarthy Building Companies, and several vendors who provide modular buildings and pre-engineered metal buildings. All these people provided input to help establish the guidelines that you see on the summary sheet before you. With regards to the modular building, and for the sake of discussion, I'm sort of interchanging the phrase pre-engineered or prefabricated modular building with trailer. It's just a little more fancier way of saying that, perhaps. But this option 1A is the option that was brought to the board in February. This provides and installs a 24 by 60 or 1,440 square foot modular building on that site that was indicated on the previous map. The cost for this is the same cost that you saw previously, approximately $325,000. That includes outfitting. This is an existing building. It would be outfitted with an additional ADA accessible restroom and a kitchenette. The cost shown there includes the relocation, the transport and set on the site, and includes stairways, ramps, skirting underneath the building, and all applicable permits associated with the building. Working backwards in this instance back to a cost per square foot based on the total cost brings us to a cost of approximately $225 per square foot for that approach. I'm calling this option 1A. Option 1A includes essentially no additional storage for this this approach. I'm showing here essentially an allowance of $5,000 to cover the cost of relocating or procuring used Connex container boxes to be used on site for the group for their storage needs. One of those on average, they average about 320 square foot each, and based on current needs, I'm suggesting that we likely need 2 of those. Site work, the preparation of the site, underground utilities, and everything associated with connecting the building to to complete the installation, running about $79,000. Owner's costs, just to jump forward a little bit, just a quick rundown of what's included with owner's costs. Includes any architectural engineering documents and submittals required. Permits, testing and inspections, low voltage systems, that's all your security systems and fire alarm systems, that type of thing. Network, IT data cabling, FF&E. For all these options, I've kept that number very low. That's all your furniture, fixtures, equipment that need to be moved into the building. Signage, we are required to provide a minimum level of signage for fire permits. And then some amount of contingency. Now, just a side note on this, I'm keeping this number very low. I anticipate that we recognize most of the costs that are required to go into these approaches, all of the 4 that you will see here. It does give me a little bit of heartburn. This is something I struggle with constantly with all these projects, is finding that sweet spot, if you will, of what's not too much and not too little contingency to be included with the overall project budget. But I do feel that in this case that we'll be able to accomplish what we need to here with what's included in that number. One note, if a location a little bit further away from the primary buildings, or actually, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. What's not included in any of the numbers is potentially separate utility connections specifically for this facility, meaning that if it were to be a need of the county to have a separate electrical meter or a separate water meter for these options, that would be an added cost that's not reflected here. So the approach we're taking here is that we would be able to tie into public works inside of the fence, if you will, downstream of the meters, and feed the buildings that way, and some sharing of the utilities costs would have to take place.
So, David, so that, you're saying that it's not included, but I have an understanding when this was earlier talked about, you said that it was already it's there. That's why we're moving it over there.
The utilities are there, right. What I'm saying is that there would not be a separate bill specifically for emergency management for either electrical or water. There would be a portion of the public works bill.
With the public works.
Correct. So the only difference going back to this first option here between 1A and 1B is the addition of some additional separate storage facility. And what I'm showing here is, in order to keep things relatively apples to apples, an approximately 600 square foot storage facility to meet the agency's needs. This would be approximately 20 by 30 standalone pre-engineered metal building at a cost of approximately $84 per square foot, which would bring our total estimated budget need for this approach up to $610,000. I'm showing an estimated project duration. This is from the time of contract signed and moving forward, roughly 4 months from the time of placing the order for this modular building to where it's on site and installed. A little bit longer with the addition of this storage building for the second option. One thing, again, going back to a little bit, just to touch finally on the procurement of this modular building. We made contact with a number of modular building providers in the state of Arizona who are on the ADOA state procurement contract. We also looked at some other some options, if you will, including FEMA and GSA and their auctioning of surplus equipment. This appears to be the best approach. Any used pre-existing facility that would require additional renovation, if you will, prior to being transported to the site, it ultimately ended up being a higher cost than this approach here, which is an existing building that just requires a small amount of renovation in order to be prepared to be brought to the site. There was also a very low availability rate of anything existing that was a similar size or layout. This one. The next option, here's just a quick look at, this is an identical building which is located across the street. It's being used as a project trailer by Pilkington Construction for our admin building and was toured by the emergency management team just to give them an idea of what it would look like. A simple floor plan down below. You see 4 offices in the corners, and open workspace in the center, and 2 small restrooms, single occupant restrooms. Option 2A and 2B looks at the option of ordering a pre-engineered metal building. You'll notice that the size here is slightly larger than what was shown on the previous, and this is again trying to match up a little bit closer to the needs of the emergency management group. The 1440 square foot is what was available, the best option available, and is a little bit smaller than we'd like to see. So again, we tried our best to keep things as close, similar across the board as we go down. But you'll notice here, going this route, we're looking at approximately $249 complete. This is provided and installed on site. The building itself at about $250 a square foot. Site work, we estimate approximately $140,000 worth of site work related to this. Again, there's no storage in this first option, or again, looking at the Connex option. The difference between this and this option here being a separate freestanding building. Actually, I'm sorry, an expansion of the metal building to include storage under the same roof. So going from 1,800 square feet to 2,400 square feet. Total cost estimated to be approximately $705,000 without the storage space, about $795,000 with. Just to give you an idea what we're looking at here, this is a 2,400 square foot model of a pre-engineered metal building, corrugated metal panel siding, standing seam metal roof, storage on one end, access, a sample layout. This would have to be refined a little bit, but again, anticipate having 4 offices, a workspace, a couple of restrooms, and a large meeting training area towards the middle. Options 3 and 4 combined together here, and these will come directly as requests from board members to explore these alternative approaches. Now, a side note with the first anticipates a type of what I'm calling a residential style of construction. We were asked to look at 2 things. One was the idea of buying a pre-designed, essentially a spec home, and erect that on the site. The other option was to look at, again, using residential construction methods, essentially identifying as a wood frame structure with a stucco finish and asphalt roof approach. So with regards to the first, the issues we run into when we start talking about the difference between a residential and commercial construction, and in this instance, it really comes back to an issue of occupancy. So this being an office space, we fall under the guidelines that require it to be built to commercial construction code. And that all these things come into play here. I won't read them all off, but you get the idea that from design through construction, we're held to a higher standard of construction, more robust, if you will, materials and engineering throughout, primarily in the areas of structural, fire systems, and ADA guidelines are the 3 probably most restrictive. In terms of what you see here is option 3, going down this path of a stick frame style construction for this office space. Again, the feedback from builders indicated an approximate cost per square foot of $225 per square foot with this approach. I've held the site work costs the same as the previous options, as well as the owner's cost, and that would bring us to, for a a 2,400 square foot, so this would include storage with, under that same roof again. Total cost of just over $800,000. And then this last option, I'll freely admit, I had to go online and search just what exactly a barn dominium was. But what I found basically is this is, again, includes some custom design. There are some options, there are some pre-designed options, there are some more custom approaches. And again, what we were asked to look at was the possibility of a two-story structure where storage and equipment and whatnot would be stored below with office space above. What that leads to is an issue with accessibility, which would require then an elevator to be installed unless we had the exact same services available on both the first and second floor. So ruling that option out, what we've done here, what we're showing here is essentially conversion back to essentially a more highly detailed and designed metal building, if you will. And working with a couple of vendors who provide such a facility, we were seeing an average cost per square foot for the building supplied, shipped, and erected of nearly $289 per square foot. This again would include a garage for storage built into the space. And again, with the same site conditions, owner's cost, and whatnot, brings our total cost approximately $958,000. I'm showing approximately 8 months. That might be a little bit optimistic, but approximate from start to finish to ship and install and erect either of these options. Here's a couple of examples. This one you may recognize. This is approximately 2,400 square foot wood frame stucco finish asphalt roof building. That is our county IT building, to give you an idea of size and appearance. And down below, again, off of one of the vendors that we talked to, this was a 2,400 square foot barn dominium style building that would most closely suit our needs. So in summary, again, those first four, those options that we reviewed, option 1A and 1B, ranging from $520,000 to $610,000. Option 2A, 2B, the pre-engineered metal building approach, between $704,000 $794,000. Option 3, approximately $806,000, and option 4, approximately $958,000. With that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
What's the square footage right now?
Square footage now. The group currently occupies half of a trailer, approximately 750 square feet. Consists of 3 offices, a small restroom, and a small kitchen counter.
And so on one of them, you basically doubled the square footage on the first one, and then for other ones, you went like 3 times more.
They're all within the 15 to 18, or for the office space. So that doesn't include, what they have now doesn't have any storage at all. It also doesn't have any meeting space. So the office space, meeting room space, and are all within 300 square feet of each other.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
We're just concerned about the square footage.
You give
and then the
give us
cost.
the same price, but obviously when you triple the space, the square foot, well, obviously it's going to be a lot more.
It misrepresents what we're actually looking at.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're tripled from,
Yeah, from
where are you seeing a tripling?
From 750 to 2,400.
We've got
So
sizes.
again, their existing 750 square feet does not include any of this open meeting space, workspace, volunteer space, or any storage space.
Wait,
But
I thought they were going out there so they could
One of the
use
things-
the Public Works
Yeah.
building.
One of the things here is that
Wasn't that so the access to the Public Works building would be there so they could use that
yeah,
auditorium?
well, you know, that's what I was going to get to.
Okay,
Supervisor Pancrase, but
sorry.
you know, we start talking about buildings. I think we were pretty generous the last time. We said, okay, let's give them $600,000, and we were thinking of moving that building that they have right now and continue using the meeting rooms that they have at the Public Works.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, you know, we see all this. You got a storage room already. that one's gonna be moved. Now you wanna add another one. To me, that's where it gets, we're talking about saving money, we wanna cut
And we're not
things,
comparing.
and we're not, yeah, the square footage, I mean, from 750 right now, then you double it to 1,440, that's included this, with a separate storage. And then you go to 2,000, 1,800, 2,400. So it's not the same. When you give me a number here, yeah, the square footage cost is the same, but obviously one is a lot more because the square footage went up.
Mr.
So
Chairman.
we talked about it, we said, well, let's move this over there. I mean, I think we were pretty generous, saying, okay, let's get a new one. And this is why I get frustrated, Ian. We say, okay, there's so much money, let's do something. But instead of going down, it's always like, well, we have whatever penny we can get, let's spend it. To me, this is not the way things should be happening. We're trying to save money and any construction building that we're doing, and I just see numbers that are way out of line to me.
Chairman, can I interject something? Tony Padilla, Administrative Director for Emergency Management. Some of the things you're probably not seeing on this is our ham radio operators are in a 20 by 50 trailer. They're getting ready to lose that. It's been condemned. That's no longer be in operation. That's one of the locations they looked at maybe moving us to. So we're going to lose that location. We also have storage at 6 different locations. So that requires us to go to 6 different places to get storage. We have storage at Public Works. We have storage at DDS. We have storage at Public Health. We're putting it in all different places. The 1A and 1B option, that is a modular building. It's probably got a lifespan of 6 to maybe 20 years. So we'll be coming back to revisit somebody will be coming back in 6 to 20 years asking for a new facility. So you're putting money back into a facility that may be longevity. I really like the barn dominium, but I think that's way above what we can ask for. I'm really excited about maybe either a metal building or a fixed stick-built facility that will last us a lot longer period of time. Obviously, we're a growing department. We do utilize those facilities. You're talking about the EOC or the Public Works meeting room, but that's not always available. We currently have meetings for our ham radio operators. They're using the food bank. We have training for ham radio operators. We use the sheriff's office facility. We also have other places that we're using for different meetings. When we have our LEPC meetings, we use the library. They've been very generous, or public health. So there's a lot of other things that are going into our world as we grow. Somebody else will probably have to come back if we go to the modular building. Somebody else will have to come back, and you're going to ask in 6 or 10 years, why are we back here revisiting, trying to get a structure that's not going to be around for a long period of time. So I just my take on it. I mean, I appreciate whatever you guys can give us, and I understand that you did give us a certain amount, and Dave's done a very diligent work in trying to answer some of those questions for you. Unfortunately, those came in a little higher than I even expected, but sometimes it may be worth the effort of taxpayers' money, not.
I don't want to build it again
spend
in 6 to 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of my options. I looked at different buildings. I think a modular building anywhere from 6 to 30 years, depending on the asset. Stick-built buildings are anywhere from 50 to 100 years. Metal buildings are anywhere from, I think, 30 to 100 years before they have any remodeling necessary. So in the longevity part of it, I think acoustic-wise in the neighborhoods, the metal buildings fit more with the public works facilities that we currently have and within the neighborhood, or even the stick-built buildings or houses around there would fit in with that, where you put a trailer out there. If you drive by Desert Hills or Royal Dunes, you'll see their trailer out there in the middle out there. I just don't think that really fits in with the neighborhood, but that's something that's your decision to make. But
One of the other challenges, Tony, is that when we look at this, we're comparing a 1,400 square foot to a 2,400 square foot, so it skews the numbers.
I know, but the whole purpose of it was to keep it within budget.
Correct.
I mean, I understand that if we plan for 16 years on the road, the budget is going to increase. I know that because I've been here for a while. But
Look at the numbers.
That's what I'm saying. When I look at the numbers, I don't look at the original project anymore. I look at an advanced project with, with the intent of making sure that 16 years down the road, we're not looking at the same thing. But honestly, the idea was to move them out of there and put them in a location by themselves. I wasn't thinking about the band radio, or, I wasn't thinking about that. And it's not, I'm not sure the county can do that and really just simply look at the residents, or in this case, the constituents, and say, well, we're trying to cover every angle possible that we can think of, so that 6 or 10 years down the road, we're not looking at the same thing. I'm sorry to say that, but 6 or 10 years down the road, we may be looking at something else, but that would be then. This is now. And now what we face with is an increase in every project of 2x, 3x the amounts. And it's got to stop. Somewhere in there, we got to say we can't cover everybody's request. We try to, but we can't. It's just impossible. And I thought the idea was, okay, well, you have a $500,000 budget, $325 was too much for the model itself. So please find an option that works for us within that frame. None of this stuff falls within that framework. It's all, I know, if we move it to the Public Works Department, all we're doing is taking it out to some location that is more amenable to that, but we're not decreasing the cost because we're building a lot bigger. But why we build?
I just say, honestly, we said 600,000, make it work. I don't care what building you get, but make it work. But when you go 2,400 square feet, that is not what we talked about. We never said that it was going to be more larger, bigger, whatever. Make it work with those 600,000. That's how I feel. I think
Chairman?
that's the money we approved. You should make it work.
And I agree, and I had the same comment, and, looking at the square footage for the stick-built, the cost $225.75 a square foot. If we do 1,440 square foot there, that would be $325,000.
And that was my point that I was getting to, but this didn't have the opportunity to bring it up, because we're not comparing apples to apples. We started at 14, and then we're calling that out.
Wait a little longer, it'll be
Right.
bigger.
No, I know.
With my math supervisor lines, and tell me if this holds true, Dave,
I would
it would add up to be 590,000.
600,000. I can deal with that.
At $225.75 a square foot for 1,440 square feet with the other costs.
And if you'll go back a little bit, can we look at, and is there any reason, can you help us justify what our owner's costs are and what the site work is? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? The one you just left.
May I say that time is not on our side?
Everything that goes into
Permits?
making up that.
We make the.
If we get a plan that's already ready to go, I mean, very little testing and inspections, low voltage system. I mean, I just see that as.
Nothing here is
it's
what I
over.
would call an extravagant cost. You do have, they're all required though. This is in city, boundary, and they are the authority having this jurisdiction. We will have to submit architectural plans, structural plans, civil plans for permit. The testing inspection is primarily going to be soil compaction for your slab. A metal building would require bolting and welding inspections as well. Again, these are all what we call owner-provided services here. We usually manage this in-house with partly with our staff, but they usually hire that out as well to their preferred contractors. So this is, again, IT equipment, security cameras, access control, that type of thing.
Well,
you can make it. I can make it easy.
Make it work with the 600,000 that we already approved. I think that's. I mean,
I think you can build a modular building and storage with 600,000.
Yeah. If you can do a stick built, or we have metal building with the 600,000.
I'll be up to you guys, but
because this is just.
I don't want to revisit this in 6 to 10 years.
And I don't want to revisit it this month.
No.
I want to get it done. Make it, look, time is never on your side, but this is getting ridiculous now. It's getting to what every project discussed in us twice as much or 3 times as much as we originally planned. And that's because time has gone by, and every time goes by, it's never in our favor. And so the more we wait, the more needs are going to come and become apparent, because that's the way that life is in general. So please, let's just stop doing this. Stop coming up with options. Have $600,000, build an emergency managed building with storage if you want to. I don't care if you build it stick built, I don't care if you build it metal, I don't care if you build it inside a shell. I don't care how you build it, that's your budget. Please work within that budget and don't bring us more options that include other needs, because we will always have other needs. And 6 to 10 years from now, hopefully, some of us will be here, some of us won't be here. And then you deal with whatever comes up. It's like, well, I don't want to use the city of Yuma as an example with their city hall, but, you know, it's like they build 3 times as big and hoping that 20 years from now you'll use it, and you will use it 20 years from now. So it's just a continuous struggle to keep up. But time is not on our side. We need to make a decision. We need to get to work on building it, the damn thing, instead of planning how to pay for it. We have the money set aside. Let's do that. Let's just get option number 1 and 1B, excuse me, and go at it. Go.
And just to add to that, I think Tony is right. You know, when we ask for options, we want the apples to apples. Once I see different numbers, then it's not. You're not.
The square footage numbers changed on all of those,
It's
and
not
so
being
inflated.
So we might ask for options, and I think the options were metal building, like a home with material, you know, for houses, or the modular trailer. Those are the kind of things I think options that we want to hear. Once it gets bigger, adding this and that, it just takes it. You know, I don't know if we were on the same page when we talked about it, or when we gave direction, but we need to get that corrected. You know, when we ask about options, we want to see options about what we are talking, not bigger, not.
It's getting to be like actions, you know, requesting a loaded gun. Every time we get a new option, it's bigger, more expensive.
So, I mean, we don't need action on this one, huh?
You don't?
Pretty much is.
If you want instructions or directions,
I
let's say
recommend
you
the stick-built, long-term building.
Direction is clear, thank you.
All right.
Well, on the stick build, like I said, you could build a 2,400 square foot, for 600,000, 2,400 square foot building
And I think that a lot of the.
Shell,
at,
especially.
at 250 a square foot.
Right, and I think that a lot of those prices that we had with owner's costs are inflated above and beyond what they needed to be, because.
Well, let's say that you have a $600,000 budget. Just go at it. I don't really particularly care if you build it with residential, or if you build it like residential type building, or if you build it as a modular. I don't really. I'm not interested in the type of building anymore. I'm interested in keeping within a budget, really. So you guys can be resourceful and do it, you know, however we want to do it. If you do it for long term, do it residential like. If you do it for purposes of staying within budget, you know, you guys modular. You know, modulars nowadays are starting to look more and more like regular. So you just go do it. The next time you come to us with a plan to build it, and just get an approval and go out to bid and get it out. It's, you know, I'm really tired of looking at options for this building. It doesn't work at all.
Well, like I said though, too, at 250 a square foot, that's what you've got pretty much for a $600,000 budget, is $250 a square foot.
So go do it.
Should be able to come up with
there's
some
gonna be cameras.
nice size that works, that'll last, and
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on to planning and zoning agenda, the expedited rezoning and public hearings. These items will be open as a group for public hearing and enacted upon by one motion to adopt the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, except for any item that is removed by the board member or for separate consideration. The items will be discussed and acted upon separately following action on expedited items.
Mr. Chairman, if nobody, you're gonna open up.
Open up. All three. Item number 1, special use permit case number 23-20. Item number 2, special use permit case number 23-22. And item number 3, special use permit case number 23-21. Do we want an explanation, or do I open it up for public hearing?
Legal.
Yes.
Yes?
I'll open it up for a public hearing. Anybody from the public? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Chairman, there have been no discussion, and because everything seems to be okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the expedited items presented.
I will second those.
There's a motion and a second to approve the expedited items as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Maggie. Rezoning, regular public hearing items. Item number 1, rezoning case number 23-11.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presenting rezoning case 23-11. This is a request to rezone 5 parcels, the total 0.839 acres in size, from low-density residential, 6,000 square feet minimum, to high-density residential. The project is located in the Yuma Valley Planning Area, northeast corner of County 19th Street in Arizona Street in Gadsden, Arizona. The intent is to develop the properties with duplexes. This is the zoning and vicinity map showing the subject parcels, crosshatch at the center. Access to the properties are along County 19th Street, which is also known as 7th Avenue in Gadsden, and Arizona Street. 2 of the parcels are vacant and 3 are improved with site-built dwellings. On the north and east, we have property zone R16, improved with a mixture of manufactured homes and site-builds. Parcel 90 is on light industrial, improved with a site-built dwelling. Parcel 105, also to the east, is on general commercial, is the location of car lot. Parcel 4 to the south is in agriculture, zone RE40. Parcel 5 southwest is improved with a site built and apartments, zone RE40. Parcel 6 further southwest is zone RE40 in ag, and parcel number 2 to the west is in agriculture, zone RE40. This is the site considered by the applicant, showing the existing residences and proposed duplexes. On the south is County 19th Street, and on the east is Arizona Street. This is an aerial view shown within the context of development in the area. Outlined in red are the subject parcels. This is an oblique view. It's a older aerial, doesn't show the newer site build where the motorhome is located. This is a view looking east at County 19th Street from the southwest corner of the properties. Now looking north at Arizona Street from the southwest corner. Looking south, Arizona Street from the northwest corner. We're looking north at the alley. Looking south at subject parcel 7592986, one of the ones that are vacant. And looking southeast, the properties that have improvements. Now comments received from residents within the notification area. We receive comments from the City of San Luis. Planning Commission recommends approval of rezoning case number 23-11, subject to the following performance condition. Within 60 days of board approval, the owner agent shall record an infrastructure disclosure statement, record an agricultural disclosure statement, and record a schedule for development disclosure statement. And also the following is scheduled for development within 1 year of board approval. And prior to approval of building permits, the owner shall apply for a grading and encroachment permit with the Yuma County Engineering Department to improve County 19th Street, West 7th Avenue, to the northern limits of subject parcel along South Arizona Street with a paved road 26 feet in width with 8 feet ABC shoulders in accordance with the Yuma County Public Works Standard Volume 2, details CO 2010. And this image in this slide highlighted in orange is where the improvements need to take place. Chairman, the applicants are present, and that concludes staff's presentation.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, do the improvements cross anybody else's property, or are they within the right of way?
No, Mr. Chairman, that will take place right away.
Do they connect to improved, I see it, do they connect to improved?
Yeah, right here is the extension of County 19th Street.
And
Yeah,
that is
so they will
paved?
need to, this is, they're unimproved and unimproved.
Yeah, the other is improved already.
I don't,
Yeah, they're right there. That's where they end, right there.
Mhm.
does anybody else have paved roads there nearby?
The staff doesn't know. We got engineering department, Arturo Alvarez here to answer questions on related to current improvements in the area.
I'm trying to figure out from the aerial picture, what are you guys requesting? You're requesting them to improve County 19?
Yeah, from the
Just their
frontage.
section.
Yeah, all that is an improve from the south frontage, which is the extension of County 19 and Arizona Street right here, all the way to where.
But it doesn't go all the way up to the
No,
other
it
side.
doesn't. It stops right there.
It's right there. So we're asking them to improve a portion of road that doesn't connect to anything on the, what is it, the eastern or western? and
That's
northern side?
western side.
Yeah, that is the west side. And I think.
But it's the road that people would be coming in and out of.
That one?
That one, yeah.
This is the view looking north. That's the condition of.
And from the letter that is in the packet, the owners in this case are saying that doing a paved road is just economically unfeasible. Do they want to do anything with it? And from the letter I heard, they do want a chip seal. Well, I can ask them that question. You guys explain as you well do that this is a requirement when you do something like
Correct, Mr.
change
Chair.
the zone. Okay, I'll ask them. Oh, excuse me, one more question. Is the alleyway ever used for anything else other than collecting the garbage?
It's only that. If people use it to access properties, that's on them, but yeah. Or better like that.
Any other questions for Ariel? For Mr. Barraza? Do you want to hear the applicants?
I want to hear the applicants on the
Okay.
public hearing. Ask them a few questions. You have to open up the public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, before we ask.
Do the applicant or do you open up the public hearing? Okay, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing and we'll hear from the applicants.
Good morning, my name is Gloria Coronado, 1738 South 42nd Avenue.
Arturo Coronado, 1738 South 42nd Avenue.
First question, there is an improved house in there. There's a house, actually a stick-built house. Is it yours?
Yes, all of the property there is ours.
All the property is yours. And you intend to build this duplex to rent, I suppose?
Yes.
And you're saying that you could do a chip and seal, but you can't do a paving, lighting.
Yes. That is correct. The improvement for that road is about $91,000.
How could you do it if it gave you a longer time until you have it rented and in service?
We explore our different options for this project, and with the condition that the county is putting on us to do the road first before going into construction, we couldn't.
But you've suggested doing some sort of improvement to either the alleyway or the front,
Yes,
chip seal.
yes, because
And
that's.
that, you can afford that.
Seal or all access road, depends whatever that.
Our concern is always that when people do that, the complaints always come to us. You know, why didn't you ask for that road to be paved? That's always kind of like where we come from. So the only way that I could consider that is if you have some sort of disclosure statement to your renters that the road in front of them is not going to be paved, because they're going to come one day, somebody's going to complain, come to us saying, hey, you know, why wasn't
much
this
dust.
paved? Too much dust. And that is our problem, too much dust. And that, is this by any chance counted right away? County 19 is counted right away, right?
Yes.
So, no, I'm trying to get to the point where, in reality, improving County 19, because it's counted right away, it's going to require that you pave it. So but that's why I asked the questions about the alley, because the alley could be the access point, but, I mean, it's kind of narrow from what I
We
see.
did offer that as an alternative option when we
So
were.
instead of accessing the properties from the road,
Would
County
have
19,
to do any improvement on that.
that you would have to do an improvement on the alleyway, which will make the alleyway not a garbage collecting place, but actually the access points to the duplexes. Look, I'm in housing, in the rental, the fact is that there's very little to rent anywhere in Yuma County. So to me, this is one of those situations where we know that doing it this way is going to eventually somewhere create some problems for us because, you know, we have to fit certain requirements. But using the alleyway as an access and asking you to improve the alleyways to the standard of chip and seal that we have to those may be a solution. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying it could be. You know, I guess it depends on whether the rest of the board feels that the alleyway can be used as an access point. Now, is the alleyway part of the, is it, who owns the alleyway? So is it right away? Is it, what is it? Is it a dedicated?
Dedicated.
Is it dedicated right away? Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. I mean, they should, You know, if you use an alleyway, you better be sure that it's within your property.
On how narrow is it?
Yeah, it's narrow.
Mr. Chairman, yes, the alleyway was reported back at the time that these properties were established,
How wide is it?
prior to zoning. The intent of the alley is not for access to those properties.
No, I know the intent wasn't for access, so I'm asking, how wide is it? Because it looks really thin, really narrow. And you're asking for a 26-foot paved road. So I'm trying to figure out what the alleyways.
No, Mr.
actually-
Chairman, the alleyway would not accommodate the paved road.
There would be no purpose in building a paved road in the alleyway when you can build it in the front. It's a chip seal on the issue for me. Whether you would accommodate a chip seal and whether it's wide enough for people to access to come in and out of there.
Like I said, Mr. Chairman, the intent of Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Reyes, the intent of the alley was not for access to those properties. It doesn't have the enough width for emergency vehicles. Additionally, the required improvements would not be able to be accommodated within the alley.
Now, the other way is to design, you know, is it a 5 parcel?
Currently, yes, the properties intended to be rezoned are 5 separate parcels. The intent is to put duplexes on the parcels.
When does the real estate requirement that you provide subdivision plus kick in? 5 and more or 4 and more?
For Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Reyes, for subdivision planning is 6 or more parcels need to be created. The intent is not to create additional parcels. The parcels are already in existence. These will be apartment duplexes. So there is no intent to split them any further.
What I'm trying to get to is some sort of a planned unit development that allows us to have access to fire, to the engines somewhere down County 19, and access to the properties through the alleyway. If the alleyway was wide enough. Now, is the alleyway over 20 feet or is it under 20 feet?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have that information with me. However, as you can tell on some of these parcels, properties to the north have built up to the alleyway.
I don't know, that makes it even better or worse, depending on which way you look at it, right? I mean, obviously, people haven't respected the alleyway before, because I guess it's, you know, if it's been used for garbage collection, that means that people just put their garbage in the back and hope that the garbage truck will pick it up. I'm trying to figure out a way to let them build the duplexes, but to have, you know, access to fire department, access to the people that are gonna live there that is not, at least dust proof. And that's what I'm trying to do, and try to figure out a way to do this without having them pave it. Because if they pave, they're not gonna do it. And to me, anything that anybody does in that area is an improvement to that area. As you can see around it, I just hate it becoming a band park or something like that at the end. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get them to do their project, but meet all the requirements. I mean, at least the minimum safety requirements that is required. Using the alleyway is just an idea, if the alleyway is dedicated, but is the alleyway, that's why I asked, is the alleyway dedicated, is a dedicated alleyway, right? It's not, they're not supposed to encroach it, somebody.
They'll use it. Any alleys are used. So
Everybody
they'll
uses
be
alleys.
used.
All right.
I have a
Mr. Chairman,
question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If they were to, if the board were to choose that, the alley would have to be abandoned in order for it to be improved to.
Abandoned by whom? By the county? Abandoned by the county?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman, Maggie, is there any way that they could pave County 19th or whatever that is, and then chip seal the front part?
The west side or the east side?
The east side, where it's adjacent to.
The east side.
The west side.
The yellow is on the west.
Yellow is on the west, yeah. So what you're talking about is just extending the pavement all the way to the entrance and then chip seal.
Yeah, the actual road that's already
There.
on there, extend that road to, in asphalt, and then chip seal in front of the other part. Since
Look
the-
like probably 100, maybe 150 feet.
Because the rest of that is not even improved at all
Here's County
either, so.
19.
Is that a
Here's Arizona.
compromise?
So
Oh,
that'd
I'm
be the
sorry.
stretch right here.
Actually, the alleyway is 20 feet wide, and the intent of the alley is not for primary access. One of the options, well, the requirements was to extend the pavement from 19 all the way to the west side of the parcels and extending it to the north. That's option A. Option B could be if we could ask for a pavement up to here, and then only if the boards approve, chip seal
Well, that was my
the
suggestion.
perimeter of the parcel limits.
Yeah, to me, it's a good idea.
Is that a good compromise?
It's a good compromise. It depends on whether Gloria and.
How many feet is that extending County 19th to Arizona?
I believe here it's 120, and I believe overall it's like less than 600 feet overall.
So the idea that Supervisor Pancracio suggests is just extend the paving all the way to the entranceway. And then the entrance, make it all chip seal as you get the entrance on 19. We designed it. So that the alleyway continues to be the alleyway and we don't have to abandon it. And you would have the alleyway and the front of the apartments would give access to County 19. But they would have to go through a little paved portion of about 120 feet.
That would be correct, but just keep in mind that wouldn't be we normally wouldn't recommend that as a standard.
I'd like to see it done. I'm trying to figure out a way to get it done. I like the idea if the Coronados
Could we
if the
do
Coronados could
something?
do it, I think
What
give
you
us some
said,
time.
that was option 2?
That's now. I was
No,
gonna
but
suggest.
not-
I was
not-
gonna
not
suggest that.
presented to- Not when you guys talking to them,
Is,
not at the beginning.
can we say they chip seal that and within the next 10 years or 5 years or whatever, it has to be asphalted? Can we do something like that or can that be done?
The reason we didn't request option 2 is because we wouldn't recommend a chip seal. We can't. Only if the board approves it.
Yes.
I know.
But could we recommend a chip seal for the next 5 years and then ask at the end of that 5 years, the owner needs to pave?
It's a problem.
Can we do that?
I mean, we can do whatever we want to, Lynn.
No,
but
that
I
can't
don't
be
think-
done, Maggie.
I don't
Okay.
think, I don't think that would be fair. You know, we're asking for them to pave the front and then chip seal the side. So I think that would go a long way.
If it's acceptable.
If it's acceptable with them.
Did you say
So
that?
if we,
We need to, yeah.
Yes, that would be something that we would accept.
So it would be paving County 19 up to the entranceway of. up
To
the-
Arizona and then we.
Continue with the chip seal.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay?
Is that a good compromise?
Thank you so much.
oh, thank you.
Well,
Anybody from the public that wishes to address the board?
Do we need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, I'll bring it back to close the public hearing and bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion that we approve rezoning case 23-11, amending on the west side to a chip seal in lieu of. Hey,
CO 20-10, that's the standard.
okay, okay. John, how do you want that stated?
I could've-
Refer to as a
Yeah.
standard.
Motion.
I'm gonna withdraw and Tony's gonna make it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. The motion would be that on planning and zoning case number 23-02, what?
23-11.
23-11, the county's,
Mr. Chairman.
the county changes requirement for a portion. Yeah, well, I'll mention.
Tony
Now you
wanted to do this.
Okay.
Since it was in his thing, so I
Standard
withdrew.
B.
Okay, so standard B would be from the point of access to County 19, which will be paid.
There's my Tony.
So we will extend the point of access of County 19 till the edge of the property, to the edge, and then run from west to east with the chip seal under standard B.
CO2 2010 will be on the south.
That will be paving.
Okay,
Right,
and
and
from
then
here, all
chip
the way
down
to the
will be
northern
chip
portion
seal.
will be standard
That's
B.
right.
Yes.
Let that be my.
That's a lot
motion.
clearer than I was, right?
Right. Did you get that? So
Mr. Chairman, do you mind please restating
Okay,
Supervisor
well,
Reyes?
the motion is to go ahead and approve case number 23-11 with the following conditions. That instead of requiring that the whole portion be paid from County 19 all the way down to, all the way from paid County 19 all the way down to the edge of the property, that it will only be paid to the point where the front of the properties begin. That it would be the portion of County 19 that would be paid would extend all the way to the edge of the property, and then from that edge, which will be
On the west side?
Yeah, on the west side.
All the way to the north.
All the way to the north would be just chip seal. Okay?
Oh, I'm glad I withdrew. for
Under
clarity.
B.
That was very clear, wasn't it?
Second that, go ahead.
Time frame?
Does everybody understand that?
I do.
Okay, well, everybody understands that. I just wanted to be clear in the motion that we.
Oh, yeah, clear.
It's more or less paved County 19th to the westerly edge of Arizona Avenue and then north
On the west side,
on the chip seal Arizona Avenue north to the property, the far north property line.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Chairman,
We
a time
like
frame?
cooperation.
Will you like to add a time frame for 1 year, 2 years?
How much time do you need to do this? 1 or 2 years? Because we always kind of tend to give a little more time when we can. 2 years. 2 years.
So give them
Okay,
five.
so, and remember,
No,
you're gonna have to
give
do
them
this, well, you're gonna have to do this before they get the building permit. So,
Yes.
You know, give them 2 years
Emphasize-
should be enough. They want to move right away, so 1 year, 2 years is fine. Like, we just didn't want to run into the edge of that.
So before approval of building permits, they have to make them build improvements.
Yes.
They got 2
Yeah,
years.
they have to build improvement.
Perfect.
2 years, they have 2 years to do.
Okay, so we have
sounds
a,
clear, right?
Are you clear, John?
You know, just so the board knows, it's really difficult for minutes to be taken when you talk over each
Yeah, I
other.
know
So
that.
please, if you could
So
let the
please
chair
don't talk over
recognize
each
you.
did you all hear that?
Sorry, Desiree, we try.
Says the offender.
Okay.
From the New York
When the
people.
county attorney speaking, you talk over.
Oh, whenever the county attorney speaker, we don't care, but.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh,
You don't care, I do.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to approve, rezoning case number 23-11 with the conditions as.
who made the motion and who made the
I think
second?
I think Elaine made the second.
Supervisor Pankratz?
I seconded it. I seconded it.
So, any more discussions? No, attorney, you can't discuss it anymore. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 2, text amendment case number 23-03.
We like those. Oh, we like those text amendments. Especially that 4H one.
Maggie, go ahead and I'm gonna turn it over to Vice Chair.
No conflict?
No, I'm gonna,
Oh, you, okay.
Thank you, Maggie. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is text amendment case 23-03. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. The intent is to amend sections 601.03 of the zoning ordinance, 614.03 of the zoning ordinance, and 615.03 of the zoning ordinance. The memorandum that was addressed to the Planning Commission is attached to your packet. It shows the proposed changes on pages 3 and 4 of your packet. The intent is to remove 601.03W and replace it with another paragraph, BB, solid waste facility. The same with section 614.03. Remove paragraph G and add paragraph M, solid waste facility. And again, section 615.03, delete paragraph B, sanitary landfills, and add D&E, solid waste facility, and hazardous waste treatment, storage, and disposal facilities requiring a permit under Arizona Revised Statutes, Title 49, Chapter 5, Article 2. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this request. And it clarifies some of the issues that took place when the facility was in the process of being proposed over in Gila Acres subdivision.
All right.
Open to the
We'll
public.
open, yeah, I was gonna say, open up to the public hearing. Any comments from the public?
Mr. Vice Chair, can I say something? You know, normally, I like to see what we're changing, and this is just adding stuff?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, pages 3 and 4 of your staff of the memorandum addressed to the Planning Commission shows the changes in strike and bold format.
And I'm locked out of my computer, so it won't let me in.
Okay, I'll trust you, but.
I have a comment. I'd like to thank George and Maggie for all their hard work on this. It will help us in the county from being California's dumping ground. And that was what it will help us do in plain language. So, thank you very much for all the work you've done on it.
Thank you.
It's okay. I understand the purpose now, so I'm feeling more comfortable.
Do we have any public commentary? If not, I'll bring the item back to the board.
Rural Metro want to say anything?
Anybody? Nobody?
Anybody?
Everybody's
1,
happy?
2, 3. Anybody?
Yes, happy? Okay.
Go
I'll bring
ahead,
it back to the
Mr.
board for consideration.
I'll make a motion, we approve the
I'll
text
second.
amendment case number 23-03.
And I'll second
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much for all your work on this.
Yes.
We vouch for you.
Hopefully this makes it easier for you guys too, or get you
Pásale, joven.
some voice.
Oh.
Why is this an exodus of everybody in engineering?
Nadie.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I have the legislative update for you. So the legislature has been in session for more than 82 days now, with more than 1,700 bills introduced, 2 of them vetoed, and 16 of them signed. The legislature expected to go way beyond the 100-day mark. As rumors have it, they will be taking a break starting next week, since budget negotiations are on hold until the governor's office receives updated revenue numbers. Legislative leaders are inclined to not require lawmakers from across the state to travel to Phoenix. So now we have officially reached the end of the legislature's committees. If a bill hasn't made it out of its originating chamber and through the subject matter standing committee in the second chamber, it is now officially dead. Until the budget is finalized, an Initial Appropriations Committee must convene one more time to process that draft of legislation. Committees will only be meeting to process executive nominations, conduct inquiries, or receive presentations. So some bills that might be of your interest, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have SB 1441. The Governor's Katie Hobbs last Monday signed SB 1441, which directs the Arizona Historical Society to convey ownership of the following land and buildings to the city of Yuma: the Sanguinetti House Museum and Gardens and Jack Mellon House and the Molina Block.
Let me clear that up. To the city of Yuma.
Yes.
To the city of Yuma. Did I say county?
No, to the city.
City of Yuma.
The city requested it under the heritage.
Yes.
HB 2123, wells water measuring devices prohibition. It prohibits the state or a political subdivision from requiring a water measuring device for any well located in the basin or sub-basin that contains a river system or source that is subject to general adjudication of water rights, and the basin or sub-basin is located outside of an initial active management area. or outside an area where groundwater may be withdrawn or and transferred pursuant to Arizona law. So this has been transmitted to the governor last week. And per Supervisor Pancrass's request, I will let the board know that SB 1047, the animal cruelty failure to treat, has been passed at the House Cal. And what this bill does, it adds to the definition of cruel neglect, a failure to provide a domestic animal with food given daily, water that is suitable for drinking, and for an animal other than a dog that primarily resides outdoors, access to shelter that is necessary and adequate. So that is moving along.
It is. Has it gone to? It hasn't gone to the floor yet. Huh?
No, not as sadly Friday when last time I checked.
It gives basically what it does is it gives teeth to animal control to be able to enforce cruelty to animals, domestic animals.
Correct, ma'am. Did I skip one? Oh, I'm sorry. So HB 2131, state lands, agricultural lessees, striker. So this is a bill that was amended, striked per AgTech's request at the Senate Committee of Natural Resources and Water, chaired by Senator Kerr. It requires the Director of State Land Department to require agricultural lessees of the state lands to comply with generally accepted farming practices on state lands, including the use of fertilizers and prescribed soil amendments and adopted rules, and entitle agricultural lessees of state lands that are presumed reasonable to renew a lease unless that state lands are sold or leased to the highest and best bidder at public auction as prescribed. This will be heard today at the Rules Committee at 1 o'clock, and it's we'll be awaiting a vote in the Senate Committee of the Whole. It seems that the State Land Department has advised the AgTech that they are not planning to renew immediately, and that will open it up to the best and
better uses.
So that's why AgTech is going on the offense on this one. We were not informed until last minute, the night before, that there was going to be a strike everything bill on HB 2131. So we've expressed our concerns to our legislators, and hopefully we have an opportunity to talk to AgTech and other stakeholders about this at another opportunity.
Yeah.
I just want to check if I...
Can I put that in common? It allows the land department to determine if California poop is the best use of.
And that was part of our conversation.
Sorry.
Yeah, we.
Septage and biosolids.
Right.
Can you back it up to the first one? Is that Governor Brewer a typo, or is it, we're back to?
Oh.
That's
Okay,
that's a typo.
I remember, but it's okay.
Oh, he worked in
That was
her.
probably wishful thinking on your part. Right?
Yeah, no, it's wishful thinking on your part. More like,
Worked in her.
well, I just looked at that and I said, something that looks odd, looks off, and it's just the Governor Brewer part.
I will fix
Happy
that.
to find out you remember.
Oh, good. Yes.
So just to finish off with HB 2131, the background is that agricultural operations conducted on farmland that are consistent with good agriculture practices and established before surrounding non-agricultural uses are presumed to be reasonable and do not constitute a nuisance unless the agricultural operation has a substantial adverse effect on the public health and safety. Now, we have no way of confirming that AgTech's operations produce or generate flies or smells at this point in time. There's no data to suggest that.
They produce smell. There is no, I don't need that proof. Flies maybe not, but smell they do.
They
I can
sure
go
do.
by there and smell.
So that's
I agree.
that's for us is still up in the air, and that's why we're expressing our concern to all of our legislators.
Mr. Chair, and part of it is from our experience with having to bring in ADEQ and finding some
violations.
Violations. There's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
And also to mention a couple other bills, SB 1278, which is legislative vacancies and appointment. The bill establishes certain deadlines for the nomination and appointment of qualified electors to fill a legislative vacancy. The floor amendment, supported by Yuma County, extends the deadline from 7 to 10 calendar days by which the county board of supervisors must appoint a person to fill a legislative vacancy when the legislature is in session. So the bill was amended in committee of the whole on Friday.
Good. Did it pass the whole?
It passed the committee of the whole, the count, yeah.
So now 10 days during session,
Yes,
21
ma'am.
days outside of session.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And lastly, SB 1731, which is public meetings, comments, and members, it's ready for third read in the House. The bill permits members of a public body to discuss matters raised during an open call to the public. We expressed CSA's and Yuma County's opposition to the bill, and we keep working with lobbyists to let our legislators know that we oppose permitting members of the public to discuss matters raised during an open call to the public.
Mr. Chair, Alejandro, sorry. Where did I get that one? I renamed you. Sorry.
Let that go.
What was that comment?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Alejandro, are other counties also in opposition? And have they been expressing theirs to their legislators?
Madam Supervisor, the only thing I know is the CSA, the LPC committee, Legislative Policy Committee, is opposing it.
Okay.
Yes. Also, on the state side, Governor Katie Hobbs of Arizona and Governor Gavin Newsom of California both officially proclaimed March 31st as Cesar Chavez Day in their respective states.
Well, before you leave that, I was going to do that at the end, and I was going to mention the city of San Luis has a holiday, which is today. As a matter of fact, they're closed. I don't know if Somerton, I think, may have, but for that area, for South County where he died, and for Yuma County where he was born, the month's very significant, March, and today it's technically a legal holiday for the people of San Luis, Arizona. So I just wanted to acknowledge there was a march on Sunday. There was a lot of events tied to that I think, I don't know if it's legislative in nature, but there's been discussion about turning it into a legal holiday. So,
Thank you, Tony.
Federal component of my update, Arizona Senators Kirsten Sinema and Mark Kelly announced $25 million in federal investments that they secure for Arizona priorities. That includes Arizona small businesses, wildfire and flood prevention, a stronger microchip manufacturing workforce, increased access to life-saving cancer treatment, and increased access to rural health care. That's where Yuma Regional Medical Center comes in, as they will receive $1.5 million in federal investment to expand the radiation therapy department and modernize the linear accelerator equipment housed there to expand access to life-saving cancer, promote health equity, and create new jobs. Also, a $1.2 trillion funding package passes the House of Representatives passed a 6 bill spending package last week. To 286 vote in favor against 134 against it. Send the government funding bill to the Senate just hours before the deadline to prevent a shutdown. Soon after, the Senate voted 78-18 to advance the bill early Saturday morning, and President Joe Biden quickly signed the bill. On international border affairs, I'd like to share with the board that over the weekend, the Mexicali airport experienced significant damage caused by powerful wind gusts, resulting in the collapse of substantial section of the facility ceiling. And as a precautionary measure, airport authorities promptly suspended all operations, ensuring the safety of all individuals on site. Thankfully, there were no reported injuries as a result of the incident. The airport authorities are taking proactive steps to resume operations today. However, it is important to note that operations will initially be limited as the necessary assessments and repairs are carried out. We'll continue to update the board if anything else comes up on that. Also, the U.S. General Services Administration, GSA, is going to be hosting a Community Representatives Committee meeting on Wednesday, April the 10th in San Luis, Arizona, to update the community on the remodeling and expansion project of the San Luis.
Oh, that's right.
Port of Entry.
I think I have that on my calendar.
That would conclude my presentation to the board, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions for Alejandro?
Not a question, more like a comment. I mean, borderline weights have been improving dramatically over the last few weeks, a couple of weeks. And I'm the first one that mentioned that when they get really long, they've been kind of short lately. And I've made it clear to them that some of us, or most of us, appreciate that. Their response to this is they've opened up 4 lanes. They had 1 lane that was canceled, so they opened that up, and it's showing quite a big improvement over the past month or so.
Chris.
Just wanted to say that. And now, I don't know if we can announce that appointment to the new board director, because, I don't know, I mean, everybody knows it's Chris Leon.
Thank you, Director Chris Leon.
Used to be the assistant board director here in San Luis, and it was appointed to the Phoenix Airport Homeland Security director at the Phoenix Airport. So it's nice to have a local guy back, and maybe hopefully he'll be a lot more sensitive to the local concerns. His name is Chris Leon.
And he was one of my kindergartners.
All right.
All right, let's go. Move on.
Events calendar, current events, Supervisor Pankrazzi.
Okay, I have a list somewhere. Here it is. I attended the CSA Executive Board meeting and the Board of Directors Board meeting. I judged the National Civic Bee sponsored by the Yuma Chamber. That was so amazing. I attended the Women in Leader Her, H-E-R, Leader Hership, from AWC in San Luis, and they had a panel discussion with Ritika from AWC, Maria Chavoya from Complete Health, and our very own Diana Gomez, from the director for the health department. And those 3 women did an amazing job of telling these young girls their process, how they went from here to here, and how they became leaders in the community. And I really enjoyed it. So the special session we had, I also attended Arizona at Work, their providers meetings to see where they are on their meeting their goals. And I attended the YMPO meeting and had a very happy Easter.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Simmons.
I met with the representative of a company that's looking to maybe start up out at YPG and talk to them, kind of what they're thinking. Held a community meeting in the Foothills. Also attended the Foothills ribbon cutting for the new park, the BOS special session, and ADEQ put a meeting on out in the Foothills, giving an update to the community of what's going on with Foothills utilities and some timelines that they've been put under.
Thank you.
And the Foothills, not a groundbreaking, it's a ribbon cutting ceremony. Ribbon cutting ceremony. Really, again, I'm surprised at the way that sort of rolled into a big project like that, and it turned out to be so well. Like, congratulations to the people in the Foothills and their supervisor representing that district. I had a meeting with the Vision Group in San Luis to discuss issues that pertain mostly to logistics. Also, don't forget the Volunteer Appreciation Day tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the main library.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. I think I mentioned the Cesar Chavez thing too many times.
All right. Participated in the Chairman's Cup Award presentations. Attended a board meeting at WIFA in Phoenix, CSA Board of Directors meeting. Had a phone call regarding 2 solar projects back into Yuma. The ribbon cutting and several different calls with constituents. And several other things. Amberley's Place board meeting. Participated in the annual barbecue for the Yuma Irrigation District.
Did you cook?
No.
Oh.
I was able to enjoy it.
Oh.
Thank you.
You eat?
I did eat.
Hey, Hank usually does a good job.
Yeah. Ian. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also participated as a panelist on the judges for the Chairman's Cup presentations, and what a great opportunity to see some of the innovations and efficiencies our team members are coming up with every day. Participated in a monthly meeting with Arizona at Work, not the providers meeting, a separate monthly meeting that we do. I received word that my ICMA credentialed manager status has been renewed another year, which is based on my professional development activities of the past year. And wanted to thank Josh Scott, Deputy County Administrator, and Desiree and others for keeping an eye on things while I was away last week. That's it. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if we could place on a future agenda, maybe within a month, the discussion around the zoning for the agricultural animals. As I received no less than 25 calls and texts this week regarding that matter, and I appreciate Josh's coordination on that specifically, but that's referring back to the 1999 ordinance and the letter that you provided to me. Several members from the Junior Livestock Committee and 4-H and FFA have asked for an opportunity to have an in-depth discussion.
I want to attend that. I forgot to mention, we had a special meeting where we appointed the judge for the presiding judge for the not
JP2, and we were all there.
Yes. We were here, and
Justice of the peace.
Yeah, know that there's a new one that you probably need to meet with her, and just sort of smooth things out, so we can see where we can help, see how it can be of assistance, and make sure everybody knows that that position is. I don't know what the next part of the process is, but I know there probably will be an election, and she needs to be made aware that they should all register, whomever that is.
All right, anything else from the board? Meeting's adjourned.